Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Spaniard Show. These are some of my favorite episodes to record, and this episode title is How I Stay Lean and Fit Year-Round at 42. So I'll give you a little bit of background. It never made sense to me when I was wrestling and when I was fighting. It never made sense to me, probably more so fighting because I think I was later in life, a little bit more mature, had evolved a little bit, but it never made sense to me to get fat and lazy after a fight, only to have to then get back into shape for a fight. I always maintained a level of fitness. It has evolved into who I am as a person. I really enjoy training. I really enjoy fitness. I have like uh, a desire to make training, fitness, health, nutrition a part of my package that I offer through my business. I just don't have a way to do it just yet. Anyway, I love training. I love fitness. It is one of, to use the Rock's term, one of the anchors. It is the primary anchor in my life to be a strong, healthy, fit individually, physically, mentally. Just like when I was training, I used training and as preparation for confidence. I do the same thing in my life. I like walking around knowing that I'm an extremely strong, mentally and physically healthy person. I train a lot. I interact with athletes a lot. One of the things that prompted this, both people asking me questions, right? How do you stay so lean? How do you work out, et cetera? Both kind of middle and high school kids, but also people I see at the gym. So I do my training here at my house. 90% of the time I train at my house in the morning. As you know, I come downstairs at 6:30. I'm upstairs at 7:30, 7:45, done for the day in terms of training. I use the sauna, which I'll talk about, at a local gym. And I talk to a lot of dudes in the sauna. On average, they're probably 24 to, for the most part, like 24 to 30, I feel like, are most of the young people that I talk to. But there's a handful of people my age and older. And one of the things I continually get asked or told is, how do you stay so lean? And holy cow, you're 42. I never would have guessed. So I'm saying those things objectively and humbly, but as background for the purpose of this episode. There's a lot of people who wonder, hey, how do I stay lean? Or why do I have these extra rolls on my belly or on my waist? Or how can I get ripped like that guy? And so I want to provide my system, and I've done this a couple of times in the past, but this is new and updated, how I maintain that level. One of the things that frustrates me the most, so social media in general is just a complex tool thing, but it irks me so bad. So two different things, and this is my problem that it irks me. I'm aware of it, but people who flout these fake businesses as if their lives are changed and their lives are great and you should do it too and come join me in this thing. It's so freaking hard to start a business, to run a business, to be in the dirt every single day for years and years and years and years and years, and then see people promote this fakeness on social media that is just untrue, right? That's regarding business. Same thing with fitness. There are so many people, too many people, whose fitness posts on social media are fell off the bandwagon, getting at it, going hard again, been off the thing too late. And it's like, what? Stop talking about falling off the wagon and just stay on the freaking wagon. I don't get that stuff. It irks me. It irritates me. And so I want to provide to you an actual and legitimate source of strategies and habits and behaviors that you implement into your life over time that produce results. I follow a lot of legitimate and credible fitness people online. If you want to know who they are, hit me up at Charlie Spaniard and I'll give you their names. And so what I have in front of me is, I don't know if it's 15-ish notes, notated with an N for nutrition and a T for training. And one of them is a B for both. Okay. So I'm going to go down the list here and give you nutrition. All of these things don't work perfectly together. All of them don't make sense. Some of them might contradict the other ones. It doesn't matter. Pick pick what will help you stay on track and stay lean and fit after 40. That's what I'm going to say, after 40, but it doesn't matter how old you are. One of the things that I learned recently in this book called Reframe Your Brain by Scott Adams, who is the Dilbert creator, read his books, is he talks about reframing your brain. And these reframes are just different little tidbits, how you look at things. And he said, and it doesn't even matter if it's true, as long as it makes your life better. So for example, I say sugar is the devil. Sugar is the devil. That's how I think about it. Sugar is the devil. Stay away from it. I don't mean sugar in fruits. I mean, sugar's the devil. I mean, crappy processed sugar is the devil. Do I consume it sometimes? Yes. But that's a reframe in my brain that is it 100% true? It's pretty darn true. But there's other reframes in my brain that keep me on track that aren't necessarily true. But for the purpose of my goals and objectives, it keeps me on track. So let's dive into the first one, the both. First of all, the most important is this is a system. I never fall off the wagon. Ever, 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 never, ever do I fall off the wagon. I've said this before. Does that mean that I don't eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch and stuff my face until I want to throw up? It does not mean that at all, because I do that, but it's all within the context of tomorrow I'm getting up and training. Tomorrow I'm getting back onto the horse of proper eating. I know that. So it's like, I allot this into my life. I never fall off this system. So if you want to be lean and fit well into your old age, develop a system and stick to it. And your system cannot be 5 days of working out and 10 days of freaking not working out and eating like shit. It just doesn't work that way. There's people I talk to in the sauna who tell me all these things about, yeah, I'm eating healthy and yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then 5 minutes later, I'll hear them say their buddy on their phone when they're in the sauna saying, yeah, I'm going to run out and get some Mickey D's and then I'll be over and then we can go out and blah, blah. It's like, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You are not integritous, meaning you're saying one thing and doing another. You've got to stick with it. It's a system. If you plan to go out every Friday, guess what? You have to allot that into your system. I know that on weekends, I let off the gas a little bit. No, I let off the gas, right? I don't indulge. I don't go debauchery nearly as much as I used to, but I know that. So during the week, I am not 100% on target. I operate with the 80-20 mentality in terms of nutrition. 80-20 meaning 80% of the time I eat really well, 20% of the time I don't. That also means maybe in a given day, 80% of the day is good, 20% is not healthy. Whatever 80-20 means to you, whatever proportion works well for you, use it. 50-50, 80-20, 90-10, whatever. I don't care. But I know that always when it comes to nutrition, I'm operating within this 80-20 mentality. And I know that I never, ever, ever get off my system. Never, until I'm dead or incapacitated. Never will I ever get off this system. Cement that into your brain from day one, minute one of listening to this. So the both is, it is a system. The first nutritional tip is the 80-20. Follow it. It can be 75-25. I don't know. I don't care. But just know that the majority of time I am eating really stinking well. I just had for lunch 4 eggs, a handful of mixed nuts, grapes, raspberries, and blackberries. That is a standard lunch for me. I also have Greek yogurt with those fruits and some honey and a little bit of dried granola, which is processed sugar, but I don't care because it adds to it and it's just a little bit. Those 2 lunches are my lunch, I bet 80% of the time when I'm sitting here by myself. I don't eat breakfast. I just drink black coffee up until about 11 or 12 o'clock. Boom. There you have it. It's eating well most of the time. Another thing dealing with nutrition is if I know that I'm going to indulge, for example, Thanksgiving, I had 3 Thanksgivings, right? 3 Thanksgivings, I think it was, 2 ginormous plates and dessert each of those meals. So I had like 6 Thanksgiving dinners, right? I allot for that. I know, hey, tonight, this is nutrition tip number 2. I know that tonight I'm going to eat like absolute garbage and I'm going to stuff my face because I want to, and I live in a system that enables me to. So on days like that, I eat very little or nothing leading up to that meal, right? So I eat very little or nothing leading up to that meal because I know this is where I'm going to eat. And a weird thing with me is this, and I don't know if there's science behind it or not, but if I go from eating nothing the day into sitting down and eating a lot, I actually can consume less. It's like my belly has tightened up a little bit, or I'm not kind of warmed up for that meal. Whereas if I'm eating throughout the day, I'm kind of warming up, stretching out my belly for this meal. I don't know if it's right. It doesn't matter if it's right, but that's what I know happens to me. I don't eat hardly anything leading up to that meal. That's another strategy that I have incorporated. Next, with the scale, I step on the scale more. I don't know if it's more or less, but anyway, I step on the scale a lot. Kind of bird's eye view from the beginning, taking a step back, looking good, being ripped, being jacked, feeling good about myself is super important to me. It's as important now at 42 as it was when I was 14, wanting to look jacked in my singlet. It's jacked on the beach. I love it. I like looking good. Very important to me. Feeling good, moving good, equally as important to me as I get older. But this idea, I want to look good. I'm not in a singlet anymore, but I want to be the buffest, most jacked dad at turkey dinner for my kids, like kids' school, or when I do a school assembly, I want to be jacked on stage. It's very important to me. I don't understand how it's not important to some people, but some people just don't care. It's also important for me to look good for my wife. It's very important, right? That being said, I also step on the scale to monitor, maintain, keep track of my weight. I used to do it every day obsessively, and I would let it affect how I feel about myself. I don't do that anymore. I step on it more sporadically. I would say anywhere from every 3 days to a week is how often I step on the scale. If I know, right, Thanksgiving, if I know that I'm going to inhale a lot, stuff my face, debauchery, I'm not stepping on the scale for at least 2 days of regular eating. So let's say Thursday is Thanksgiving, stuff my face, fat, bloated, bleh. Definitely not stepping on the scale Friday, not stepping on the scale Saturday, though Friday and Saturday will be spent regular eating. And then Sunday morning, once I have 48 hours to go back to baseline, I'll step on the scale. That's a rough example. And by that time, maybe I'm a pound too heavier, but most of the food in my gut, it is all out of me and I'm back closer to baseline. So I step on the scale less often than I used to, but I certainly do. And if I'm stuffing my face, I'm not stepping on the scale the next day or the next day because I know it's going to be a superficial number. It's not going to be a real number. Moving on to another nutrition. I used to go with, okay, weekdays, eat really well, weekends, debauchery, eat whatever I want. But then that ended up being 48 hours of just debauchery, which wasn't effective, didn't make me feel good. It is also unnecessary. It's like when a kid drinks for the first time, they just get hammered and throw up. I honestly kind of felt that way with eating, where I would just like stuff my face for the purpose of just stuffing my face. I get less bloated less often. So there are less times that I stuff my face, one, and there are less, I'm less bloated in those times. I used to think to myself, oh, it's Saturday night, I'm eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I'm eating Ben & Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough, I'm going to get pizza and wings, I'm just going to eat until I want to die, right? I don't do that nearly as much. And when I do debaucherize, it's a lot less debauchery, meaning I'm thinking, oh, I'm full, but it's not like, oh, I want to throw up. So it's less often debauchery and less intensity in that debauchery. The next thing has been a really big, impactful implementation that I want to say Marcus Philly is the first person that I've heard say this. It is eat single ingredient foods. Now, I apply this idea to the 80-20 philosophy that I use. Single ingredient foods. If you look at your plate, are they single ingredient foods? So let's look at my lunch. Eggs, single ingredient, yes. Cheese, single ingredient, yes. Nuts, single ingredient, yes. Berries, fruit, single ingredient, yes. I didn't pick bread because bread is not a single ingredient. I didn't pick, I don't know what else. I didn't pick anything else because I think to myself, this is the 80% of eating well. This is what I'm going to eat. Single ingredient foods. If you look at your plate, the other night I had a can of peas and a pound of stir-fry beef that I bought from a local guy. I looked at my plate, single ingredient, boom. That's huge. If you can implement that into your nutrition, most of the time, 50% of the time, 80% of the time, single ingredient foods. Eat them, make that a regular. That also falls into the whole foods idea because whole foods are single ingredient foods. Nutrition. I rather go hungry than eat crap food, right? So if I'm looking around the house and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry right now. Oh, I don't have anything that I want to eat right now. Maybe the single ingredient foods, fruit. I already had a lot of fruit. I don't want it. I don't want any deli turkey. We don't have any other proteins. I would rather go hungry than eat crap food. And that falls in line to another nutritional principle, which is a Japanese idea. I forget what it's called, but there's a thing where they eat to 80% satiety or 80% full. So the vast majority of my time, I would say 80% of the time, I eat to 80% satiety, right? 80% of the time, I eat to 80% satiety. 20% of the time, I eat to 150% satiety. That's not true, but 80% satiety. I'd rather go hungry than eat crap food. So if I'm in part of my 80% of the time I'm eating well, during that time, if I'm hungry and we don't have something that fits my liking of being a positive choice, I'll just go hungry. I'll go to bed hungry. That's to me, that's fine. Good, bad, I don't know. When I look in the mirror, when I gauge my energy, when I gauge other variables and metrics, I'm on target. So that's what I do. One of the last things here with nutrition is water. I drink water all the time. I drink it a ton. I just spent $35 on a new water bottle because I lost my other one. It is insulated. It is ice cold. Along those lines, I started drinking Element, which is an electrolyte mix, because I wanted to stop drinking Monster because it just can't be good for me. And I don't like my kids seeing me drink Monster. I didn't want to hide it. So I stopped drinking Monster, bought Element, and I'll go into the sauna. But that is a reason. That is one of the ways that I make my water drinking more enjoyable. Also, I don't know if this is good or bad, positive or negative, but it fits. My weight is on target. My appearance is on target. My energy is on target. I have a vice, right? I have a sweet tooth. I'm not a robot. Trust me, I love the crap as much as anybody. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Marshmallow Fruity Pebbles, Peanut Butter Puffs, Swiss cake rolls, crimpets, icing filled crimpets, pasta, pizza. I love it. I love it. I'm a regular person. One of the things I started doing, cereal at night is a weakness of mine. And my wife introduced me to honey bunches of oats. So what I've done probably for the last month is I've pulled back the reins and I eat 2 bowls of honey bunches of oats basically every night, right? If it's a debauchery night, I won't. But basically, I eat 2 bowls of honey bunches of oats every night. Is that really good for you? No. Is it terrible for you? No. But what it does is it like serves the role as my sweet tooth, which then helps me decrease the frequency and amount of debauchery that I indulge in. So whereas before I might not have eaten 2 bowls of honey bunches of oats, On the weekends, I was pounding the soda and I was pounding the ice cream and I was pounding the cinnamon toast crunch. I was just pounding it to the point where I want to like keel over because I'm so bloated. So what I do now, again, part of the 80-20, if you're looking at my day, that 20% is those 2 bowls of cereal. Does it make total sense? I don't know. I honestly don't really care because it is my system. And my wife will say, "Oh my gosh, Charlie." And then I say, fits into my system, right? I don't know if it's, I don't know. I honestly don't care, right? Until I start to feel and see the negativity. That's what I do. And it really serves a tremendous role of that junk that I otherwise crave. Now, is Honey Bunches of Oats that much better than Cinnamon Toast Crunch? No, it's not that much better. But for me, psychologically, it feels better to choose Honey Bunches of Oats than Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I'll save you guys for the weekend. All right, let's get to some training / recovery. I've talked about this stuff on previous episodes. It is a little bit updated and or could be some new stuff. First one I'm going to kick off is sauna and cold tub. So I sit in the sauna. It used to be 3 to 4 times a week. Now it's more like 4 to 7 times a week. I do 30 minutes, 4 to 7 times a week. If there's no excuse to not do it, if it's not taking away from too much family time, I get there and I get it done. I do 30 minutes straight. If I can, if I have to take a break, I'll take a break. A minute, 2 minutes, get right back in, finish it off. I sit in a cold tub. I would say now 3 to 4 times a week. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 5. I'm making it more normal, 3 to 4 times a week. I think soon it'll be every day. My plan is to get a sauna at my house. I currently use a Rubbermaid garbage can. I just hop in the garbage can. It's a clean one. I went to the hardware store and made a little drain at the bottom because it's getting cold outside. The other day I got in, it was 31.8 degrees. I had to break the ice. That was too cold because my toes were about ready to fall off after a minute and a half. I like to do anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how cold it is. I think 40 degrees is probably ideal for me. 50 is like, I don't know if I'm getting enough done here. The rule that I've read from Andrew Huberman is 11 minutes of cold tub. You get the benefits. The sauna and the cold tub, they fall into the same category for me. Are there health benefits with inflammation and longevity and mood and mental clarity? Yes, 100%. Do I care if they're actual or placebo? Not really, because I really like how I feel when I do those things. Same as eating an apple. I don't know, same as anything. I just really enjoy doing it. And I feel great when I do it. So I do it. Because I'm doing the sauna so much, those electrolytes are definitely helping. So I do the sauna in the cold. If you have any questions about the cold, reach out to me. I think it's crazy to spend thousands and thousands of dollars unless you have that money to spend. I will say I just bought it was $90. It was an Arctic pod or something like that. It's made of like this fabric and collapsible PVC pipes, etc. I did not buy the chiller, but I could see here in the not distant future buying the chiller as well. So moving on to the next thing, I train 6 to 7 days a week. I used to automatically take a day off, and then I heard Jocko explain I don't schedule days off. If I need it, I take it. So what I've done is I've adapted that mindset to, if I feel like I need a day off, I run 2 miles at 8.0, and then I sit in the sauna. Maybe I'll throw in a cold tub as well, unless I absolutely need a day off, because running 2 miles at 8.0 makes me feel really good, and it ain't that hard. So I rarely take a day off. If I do, I need it. That split out of those 6 or 7 days either looks like 4 lifts and 3 runs, 3 lifts and 3 runs, or 4 lifts and 2 runs. That is the breakdown of that training. That training is a variety of modalities, from body weight exercises to kettlebell lifting to traditional lifting to some Bulgarian bag. This morning I just did my 300 burpee workout. So that's what the training breakdown looks like. Also, it's intense. I'm not just stinking kicking rocks. It's intense. I train very hard. I had someone, a professional contact of mine, colleague, kind of like do a little bit of wrestling, put me in a move and said, "Holy cow, do you have any fat on you?" And I thought, not really, because I live this way and I want to help you live this way, but you can't half butt it, right? You have to do it all the time or it won't work. You can't do 75 hard and then nothing for a week or 2 weeks or a month. You just can't do it. You can't train for your wedding or for the beach and then just stop. Even if you trained only, I think only 3 days a week, but you did it 52 times a year and you did 60-40 healthy eating to not healthy eating, that's going to make a dramatic impact. All these things I've talked about, I'll run down them quick once again. It is a system. You never fall off. I operate 80-20 nutritionally. If I'm going to have a big meal, I eat very light before that. The next day, I get right back on it. I don't step on the scale after indulgences. I wait about 48 hours. I get less debauchery, indulging eatings. And when I do them, I get less bloated. I focus on single ingredient foods. I do sauna and cold tub regularly. I train 6 to 7 days a week. I don't schedule days off. The breakdown of that training is 4 lifts, 3 runs, 3 lifts, 3 runs, 4 lifts, 2 runs, variety of modalities, lifting. If I'd rather go hungry than eat crap food. 80% satiety. You eat until you're 80% full. The majority of time, that's what I do. I train intensely. I drink a bunch of water. That's a pretty, and I also have those 2 bowls of cereal at night, most every night. And it checks that box up. Oh, I feel good. I eat that. I don't want to eat ice cream. I actually want to eat my honey bunches of oats. So I don't know if that's old man or not, but anyhow, that's what I'm doing. If you have any specifics, if you have my number, text me. If you want to reach out on social, at Charlie Spaniard on Instagram. Please continue to share this show if you like it, if you enjoy it. I think I've had 130 reviews for 100 years. So if you haven't left a review and you're listening, please hop on iTunes or Apple Music and leave a review. My website, it is charliespaniard.com. Below in the show description are links to my student podcasts, Read with a Fighter, where I read my books to the mic. Spaniard School, where I teach a variety of life lessons to your kids. Subscribe, listen, put it in your kids' lives. I'm doing my best to help them navigate adversity, choices, their future, goals, hard work, all the stuff we talk about here on the Spaniard Show. And I got the books, the Days of Spaniard series, Driven Young Reader. It is all below in the show notes. Please, if you're enjoying this and it's helpful, support. We appreciate it. See you.